Welcome to this deep dive. You're joining us today as we get to grips with something absolutely vital for keeping your business running smoothly,
Yeah, definitely.
especially if you're, say, a UK sales manager, an MD marketing manager, or maybe part of the IT team. We're talking about maintaining a clean CRM database.
It's so important. Think of it like this, your CRM, it's the engine room for your customer relationships, right? And if it's clogged with junk, well, it's just not going to perform at its best.
Exactly. So our goal today is to give you some really practical insights, things you can actually use to make sure your CRM data is accurate, up to date, and actually drives your success.
Especially if you're working with a setup like One Cloud Consultants provides.
Perfect. So let's kick things off. What do we actually mean when we say clean CRM data?
Good question. At its core, it really boils down to two key things. Is the data accurate and is it usable?
Okay, accurate and usable.
Yeah. Accurate data means it's reliable, it's correct, it's current, you can trust it, make solid decisions based on it.
Makes sense.
But just being correct isn't quite enough. You also have to ask, is the data you're collecting actually relevant? Is it helping you? Or is it just, taking up space and creating noise?
Because let's face it, poor CRM data isn't just a little niggle, is it? It can really hit your business where it hurts.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, imagine missing out on sales simply because you're trying to contact people with old phone numbers or incorrect email addresses.
Yeah, it's like trying to start a fire with damp wood, just frustrating and ultimately unproductive.
Right.
And it's not just about those misconnections either. Think about the knock-on effect on the customer experience. What happens when orders can't be delivered because the address is wrong? That's a direct hit to customer satisfaction and, well, your company's reputation.
And then there's the actual cost, the financial one. Research points to increased data management expenses when you're constantly chasing and correcting errors.
Yeah, that's labor costs, potentially reshipping costs.
Money that could definitely be better invested elsewhere, couldn't it?
For sure. And it impacts your team, too. I mean, spending hours manually sifting through and fixing CRM data, that can lead to employee burnout.
Yeah, you want them doing more strategic stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Their skills and time could be much better used on activities that actually grow your business.
We also have to think about staying on the right side of regulations.
Yeah.
With data protection laws having validated, relevant data isn't just good practice.
It's crucial for compliance.
Yeah.
Poor data habits could, unfortunately, lead to some pretty hefty fines.
Nobody wants that.
No. And what's also significant is how poor data hinders your ability to, nurture potential customers.
How so?
Well, if you don't have the right details, you just can't effectively stay in touch with prospects. You're likely leaving money on the table.
Right, missed opportunities.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the sheer inefficiency it causes.
Oh, definitely.
When you're dealing with incorrect addresses, duplicate records, everything just slows down.
It's a real drain. Imagine the wasted time trying to figure out which customer record is the right one, or resolving delivery issues caused by bad address data.
We've seen how this leads to slower processes, unreliable reports, just a general waste of time verifying stuff.
Exactly. And this could lead to some awkward situations, too, like multiple people from your team reaching out to the same customer because of duplicate entries.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't look good.
Not very professional, no.
Yeah.
And it can confuse the customer. Plus, if policy violations, maybe like excessive discounts, aren't flagged because the data's messy.
That could have serious financial implications.
Down the line, yeah. Poor data essentially undermines efficiency, it erodes customer trust, and it stops you from making well-informed decisions.
And it can create silos, too.
Yeah, because different teams aren't working from the same accurate information. Lack of alignment.
Okay, so where does all this less than ideal data actually come from?
Well, a few key culprits tend to pop up again and again. Human error doing data entry is a big one.
Like mishearing something on a call.
Exactly. Or just a typo. And your customers themselves can introduce errors when they're filling out forms online. A simple typo in an email address can cause problems later on.
Right. And then there's data decay.
Yeah, that's a really significant factor. Even if your data was spot on initially, people change jobs, they move house. Their information just becomes outdated over time. It happens naturally.
It's also worth considering if you're collecting data you don't really need, isn't it?
Absolutely. Holding on to irrelevant information just clutters your CRM, makes it harder to find what's actually important.
And as we've touched on, duplicate records are a really common issue.
Yeah, often arising from things like merging different systems or just having similar entries created at different times by different people, maybe.
And sometimes you just don't have enough data to start with. Incomplete records.
That's another one. Lack of foundational data coverage. Plus, natural data decay and just unreliable sources contribute significantly to inaccuracies.
And the silo problem again. Data living elsewhere.
Right, data often exists in different systems that don't talk to each other, preventing you from getting that unified customer view within your CRM. And finally, even accurate data isn't all that helpful if it lacks the context to be truly actionable.
Okay, so we've highlighted some of the challenges. Quite a few, actually. Now, what can you actually do about it?
Right, the solutions.
Our mission in this deep dive is to provide you, particularly if you're a UK business leader, maybe using or considering platforms supported by OneCloud consultants, with some really practical strategies for keeping that CRM database clean and effective.
Okay.
Let's maybe start by tackling those pesky duplicate records. You mentioned proactive and reactive ways.
Exactly. On the proactive side, think about setting up rules within your CRM to prevent duplicates from being created in the first place.
How does that work?
Well, most systems allow you to mark specific fields as unique.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, you could designate the phone number field in your leads module as unique.
So if someone tries to enter a lead with a phone number that's already there.
It flags it, stops them. This is often as simple as ticking a "Do Not Allow Duplicate Values" option when you're setting up that field. It's a frontline defense.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about all the duplicates that are probably already lurking in there?
Good point. That's where the reactive tools come in specifically, using de-duplication features to find and merge those existing records.
So the system can help clean up the existing mess.
Yeah. Often, CRM systems can automatically identify and merge records that are absolutely identical across all fields, the easy ones.
But it's not always that simple, is it? What if you have, say, 2 records for Sarah, but maybe one has an old address and the other has a newer one?
Right, that's where it gets a bit trickier. In those situations, you'll usually need to select a master record, the one you believe has the most accurate and up-to-date information.
Okay, choose the best one.
Exactly. And the data from the other duplicate records can then be merged into this master record, preserving any unique info if needed, but consolidating around the master.
And are there specific tools for this?
Yes, usually. A find and merge duplicates feature is really useful when you already suspect a particular contact or company has duplicate entries.
So you go to that record specifically?
Yeah, you go to that record, use the tool to search for potential matches, you manually select the ones that are definite duplicates, choose your master record, and then merge them. It's quite targeted.
Okay. And the other type of tool?
Then you typically have a de-duplicate records tool. This is great for running regular, broader checks across your entire database, or maybe specific modules based on certain unique fields.
Like checking all contacts by email address.
Precisely. You might set up a monthly check in your contacts module based on the email field. The system will then identify any contacts sharing the same email address.
But you might still need to review them.
Yes. Just remember that if there are conflicting details, maybe different job titles associated with the same email, you'll likely need to manually review those conflicts and decide which information is correct before merging. It's not always fully automatic.
Okay, so stopping duplicates is key. But what about ensuring the data that does get entered is actually valid, not just junk?
Right. You need validation.
Yeah.
There are features that allow you to validate CRM data as it's entered, or perhaps before it progresses too far. For example, you might be able to set up automatic submission of certain records for manual approval.
Approval based on rules?
Yeah, based on criteria you define. This is a really effective way to maintain control over key data points, especially sensitive ones.
Like, give me an example.
Okay, imagine you want to keep an eye on unusually large discounts. You could set up a rule that if a sales rep enters a discount greater than, say, 20%,
Right.
the record is automatically locked, and maybe their manager receives a notification to review it before it can be finalized.
So it pauses the process.
Exactly. While it's locked, the record can't be progressed, ensuring that these exceptions are properly scrutinized. And the system can often automate actions based on whether the manager approves or rejects the entry, maybe sending an email back to the rep or updating a status field.
You can also build data validation directly into your business processes, can't you? I think I've heard of things like Blueprint in Zoho CRM.
Yes, exactly. Tools like Blueprint allow you to visually define the different stages of the process, like a sales pipeline, and mandate specific information at each stage.
So you make fields required at certain points.
Precisely. You might not need to know a lead's specific budget right at the beginning, but you could make it a required field later in the qualification process before it moves to the next stage.
The real power of this, I guess, is that it guides your team through the correct steps.
And ensures they capture the right data at the most relevant point in the process. By making certain fields mandatory contextually, you get more complete and accurate data, almost as a natural outcome of just following the defined workflow.
Makes sense. Another key aspect of keeping data clean must be customizing the fields themselves within the CRM.
Absolutely. You can make certain important sales information mandatory from the get-go.
So users just can't save a record without filling those in.
Correct. They simply won't be able to save a lead or contact record unless those critical fields, perhaps a primary contact number or a key decision maker's name, are filled in. This prevents those frustratingly incomplete records right at the source.
Good. And character limits.
And you can also set maximum character limits for specific fields. This is really useful for data that follows a particular format, like maybe a customer ID number that always has a fixed length, say 8 digits.
So it stops someone typing in too many numbers by mistake.
Exactly. By setting a limit, you can reduce the risk of users accidentally entering incorrect or overly long values. Just another layer of validation.
Something that sounds simple but is probably quite powerful is having a consistent style sheet for data entry.
Oh, hugely underestimated sometimes. It might sound basic, but standardizing things like how you enter job titles or industry names, always using the same terminology, makes a massive difference later on.
Especially for reporting and filtering, right? If you have UK, and United Kingdom, it messes things up.
Totally. You need consistency. Always use the United Kingdom, for instance, and creating predefined drop-down lists for common fields like addresses, county perhaps, company sizes, or product categories that can significantly minimize inconsistencies and typos.
Less free text, more controlled choices.
Exactly. When users have a set list to choose from, there's just less room for variation and errors.
Okay. And finally, in terms of the CRM setup itself, what about security? Using roles.
Yes, that plays a part in data integrity too. Think about using roles and permissions to control who can access and modify different types of data.
So not everyone can change everything.
Right. By restricting access based on clearly defined roles, sales reps see their accounts, managers see their teams, etc., you help ensure that only authorized users can make changes to the relevant records. It helps maintain the overall integrity and prevents accidental edits in the wrong places.
Okay, that covers a lot of the internal CRM setup stuff. Now, let's maybe take a step back and think about a broader strategy for managing CRM data.
Yeah, because it's becoming increasingly clear, especially with advancements in things like AI-powered tools and the focus on account-based marketing.
That having high-quality data is just absolutely crucial, isn't it? For really targeted, effective outreach.
Definitely. We're talking about building what some call a solid CRM data foundation.
Okay, what does that involve?
It really has two key pillars. First, the quality of your underlying data, both what you collect internally and what you might bring in from external sources.
Right.
And second, a robust approach to data management, often drawing on what are known as master data management principles, or MDM. Essentially, MDM is all about ensuring consistency and accuracy across all your different data systems, creating that single source of truth.
I've also heard about the 4 V's of big data: volume, variety.
Veracity and velocity, yes. While it's a broader concept, it's worth being aware of, because these factors, the amount of data, the different types, its accuracy, and the speed it comes in, can influence how you choose data vendors and manage the influx of customer information.
So thinking about the data itself, you mentioned internal and external.
Right. It's useful to distinguish between the data you collect internally, information in your CRM, your marketing automation platform, website analytics, that kind of thing.
And external data, which you might purchase or access from third-party providers?
Exactly. This could include things like firmographic data about companies, their size, industry, location, or maybe signals indicating their recent growth or changes. Intent data, perhaps.
And how do you get hold of this external data?
Well, there are different ways. Some providers use technologies like machine learning to automatically find and create new data points, or they might have more manual research processes.
Or you can integrate.
Or you can curate data through integrations with other platforms by forming partnerships or by directly purchasing data sets. External data providers themselves kind of fall into different categories: traditional publishers, platforms that aggregate user-generated content, and increasingly what are called intelligent providers who use AI to analyze and enrich data.
And just to really hammer home why all this data quality matters, is there an example?
Yeah, there's a well-cited example from Twilio. They found that inaccurate data in their systems, things like incorrect headcount, location, or annual revenue for their target companies, actually led directly to missed sales opportunities, a poor experience for their customers, and a real waste of internal resources trying to work with bad info.
Wow. So it really highlights how poor data can directly impact the bottom line, regardless of how good your team is.
Precisely. It undermines everything else.
Okay, so how do you actually go about putting a proper CRM data management strategy into action? What are the steps?
Well, you can think of it in a couple of phases. First, there are some fundamental management steps. You need to assess, evaluate the current state of your data. How big are the problems with duplicates, inaccuracies, missing information? You really need to understand the scale of these issues before you start looking at solutions or vendors.
Know what you're dealing with. Okay, then what?
Then comes the clean phase. This involves merging those duplicate records we talked about, removing data that's just plain incorrect and can't be fixed, and enriching your existing data by filling in missing fields where possible.
Does that need manual work?
For really messy data, some manual cleanup will likely be necessary, yes, alongside using automated matching processes for the de-duplication part.
Okay, assess, clean.
Then augment. This is about enriching your existing accounts with additional useful information, often from those third-party vendors we mentioned.
And when you do that, what should you look out for?
Two key things are the match rate, how often the vendor can actually find a match for your existing records, and the overall coverage of the data they provide. Does it fill the gaps you actually need filled?
Right. So that's the sort of initial fundamental stage. What comes next?
The next stage is often called master management, and crucially, this is an ongoing process, not a one-time fix.
Continuous effort.
Exactly. It involves continuously updating your data, often by partnering with a data vendor who can provide real-time enrichment and maintenance. Data changes constantly, so you need a way to keep up.
Makes sense. Update, then?
Govern. Establish data governance. This means setting clear rules around who can access and modify data, auditing your data standards regularly, and managing any changes to your data processes carefully.
So rules and oversight, even with automated tools.
Absolutely. Governance is vital. It includes standardizing how your own team enters data internally, too.
Okay, update, govern, and the last one.
Leverage. You need to think about how you're actually going to use this clean, augmented, governed data in your business processes. How will it improve things?
Like helping sales prioritize accounts.
Exactly. Or informing marketing campaigns, improving customer service, making the data actionable.
And sources like ZoomInfo really reinforce that point about ongoing maintenance, don't they? It's not just a spring clean.
No, definitely not. Because data is constantly changing, people move, companies evolve, you need to think about it as a continuous effort, not just a periodic audit every year or so.
They also give some practical advice on improving how you collect data in the first place, right?
Yes. Things like standardizing how your team enters data manually, using consistent formatting, maybe using pick lists for things like phone number formats, street name abbreviations, country selections.
Those are things that add up.
They make a big difference in reducing errors and duplicate entries right from the start. And maintaining this consistency across all your website forms as well is important.
So the same fields, same drop-downs everywhere.
Yeah, it ensures that leads entering your CRM from different online sources are clean and uniform from the beginning. They also suggest exploring B2B data solutions that can sometimes help minimize the number of fields your prospects need to fill out on forms by automatically populating missing information behind the scenes.
Reduces friction for the user too.
Potentially, yes.
Now, when it comes to sourcing data, what's the recommended approach? Just rely on what you collect.
ZoomInfo, for instance, recommends a balanced approach. Using a mix of your own first-party data, the information you collect directly through your website activity, sales interactions, purchase history.
The stuff you own.
Right. And combining that with relevant third-party data, which provides broader context and insights.
Like what kind of third-party data?
Things like intent data, showing which companies are researching solutions like yours, detailed account-level information, firmographics, technographics, contact details. A blend gives you the best picture.
Okay. And automating the regular maintenance.
Yes. That's where partnering with a specialist B2B data provider can be really valuable. They can automate a whole range of crucial actions on an ongoing basis.
Such as?
Things like verify checking the accuracy of your existing data, de-duplicate identifying and merging those duplicates, match linking related information across different sources, Create adding new relevant records you might be missing. Merge combining data for a more complete view. Standardize ensuring consistent formatting. And importantly, comply helping you manage data in line with privacy regulations like GDPR.
That sounds pretty comprehensive. Takes a lot of the burden off the internal team.
It can, yes, allowing them to focus more on using the data.
Ultimately, as ZoomInfo points out, all this effort towards a clean CRM database. It saves you time.
Like, definitely saves time. It improves the quality of your leads, meaning sales aren't chasing dead ends. And that logically leads to more closed deals and increased revenue.
And there's research supporting this.
Yeah, research generally shows that businesses that really focus on being data-driven tend to provide better customer experiences, they gain deeper insights into their market and customers, and they tend to be more innovative overall. Clean data fuels all of that.
Okay, so just to sort of recap our discussion today, maintaining a clean CRM database, it's not one thing, is it? It's a continuous effort.
It really is. It involves several key areas working together. Proactively preventing duplicates getting in, regularly validating and cleansing the data that's already there, standardizing how data is entered across the board.
Strategically using technology and maybe partners to automate these processes where possible.
And establishing clear guidelines and rules for data governance. Who owns the data? Who can change it? What are the standards?
And for you listening, perhaps as a UK sales manager, MD, marketing manager, or IT manager, especially if you're leveraging cloud CRM solutions, maybe through partners like One Cloud Consultants.
A clean CRM is just fundamental, isn't it?
It really is fundamental to achieving your business goals, driving sustainable growth. It empowers your teams with reliable information they can trust.
Provides accurate insights for better strategic decision-making.
And ultimately, it contributes directly to a stronger bottom line.
Absolutely. So perhaps here's a final question for you, the listener, to think about. What hidden costs, what potential missed opportunities might your organization be facing right now because your CRM data isn't quite as clean as it could be?
Yeah, good question. And maybe following on from that, what's perhaps one immediate, simple step your team could take, maybe even starting today, to begin improving your data hygiene?
Start somewhere small, maybe.
Exactly. To learn more about how One Cloud Consultants can potentially help your organization establish and maintain a clean and effective CRM database, one that's tailored to your specific needs, and maybe to explore some more resources on this topic, please do visit onecloudconsultants.com.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the sometimes complex but always critical world of CRM data management.